On this episode of Scientific Mythbusting.
Exploding CDs! That's a mess.
Zach and Serge try to find out whether putting too many labels on your CDs could result in a disc-shattering experience. Who are the Mythbusters? Sergio Vargas, Zach Kruchowski. Between them, more than 35 seconds of scientific experience. They don't just tell the myths.
Facts.
They put them to the test.
So, what's the myth here, Serge? Well, the myth is, if you take some CD labels and put them on a disc, and then put that disc in your drive, the uneven weight distribution will cause enough oscillations in the CD so that the CD will literally just explode within your CD drive.
Sounds pretty scientific, Serge.
Indeed.
So it looks like we gotta get more of these. Shatter them.
First stop, Newegg. The team needs to obtain a few sacrificial drives in the name of science. And, of course, wait for them to be delivered.
Oh my god, they're here. They're here.
They're here?
The drives. We have to go get them.
Yes. Okay. Hot off the press.
Alright, so here we've got 3 identical drives, and then we've got an extra long cable, so that way when we're testing all of this, if anything goes wrong, we're safe.
Exactly.
Next on the shopping list, some labels and some CDs. But to be extra scientific about it, the team needs to know how much both of these items weigh. So it's off to the labs at Building 8 to make use of a super sensitive scale.
14.8559.
Next, a single label, coming out to significantly less.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
This concludes our epic scientific calculation session.
Next up, the team has to build an enclosure that will hopefully protect them from shattering CDs.
Construction. Okay, so we need to construct some sort of safety device that will allow us not to die if this goes horribly wrong, which we hope it will.
Alright, so we've got wood.
Wood is
This one's got a piece.
awesome.
This one's got a slot in it, so basically we
A
can.
slot?
Yeah, like right here.
Oh,
So we
okay.
can have the
So,
SATA cable go through here.
so we can do something like Okay, so we're done now with the safety box. Clearly looks safe. And we need to go into our room and shatter some CDs.
Zach and Serge box it over to the research room. But before they can shatter any CDs, it's time for some science content.
So, hey Zach.
Hey, what's up?
I recently heard there were some strange reports at a hospital about people walking in with CD fragments in their fingers. Do you know anything about that?
Actually, I do. Apparently, there were no confirmed serious injuries due to these shattered CDs inside of like body parts. But there are some less than serious injuries. There are confirmed people that have shards of CDs in their fingers. nothing too serious, but still a shattering CDs, which is what the myth is about. The science behind it is pretty elementary. So we have a CD, and it's spinning really fast, and it has some weight attached to the outside that's going to disturb the equilibrium, or the balance of the disc. Now, with speeds greater than 40x, you're going to show, I kind of wrote here with the dotted line, you're going to show some stress on the disc represented here. This is kind of what the disc is going to be doing. It's going to be wobbling back and forth, and hopefully result in a less than this, but hopefully resulting in an explosion. And that's what we're looking for.
So, Zach, what kind of data are you going to be measuring?
What we're looking for is the number of read errors as a function of the weight added in grams. And hopefully, we will reach a point where the number of read errors is 100% or close to 100%. And that will mean that the disk is virtually unreadable, and hopefully create enough vertical oscillation in the disk to cause the disk to shatter inside your drive.
Sounds like a job for science.
Science.
Alright, so what we have here is our safety box, which we just constructed. And what's inside it is the drive, so that way if anything were to happen in our most extreme case, all the shards are less likely to go up, so that way we're protected. And then behind it, we have our computer with the power supply going to the drive. And then from here is where we'll be running everything, doing all the CD routines and things like that, which are connected to the monitor, and keyboard and mouse, where we're sitting safely over here.
On to the experiment. The team calculates how much data they need to fill an entire CD and generate a dummy file exactly that large. Writing this much data will guarantee the drive reaches its maximum speed.
Alright, so before we start our experiment, we have to do a control. So what we're doing here is running our process on the CD with no labels on it, so that we can verify the number of write errors, make sure everything's up to speed.
Okay. Successful completion of the control. We have no errors in this one. Okay, so now we're going to add one label to a CD, measuring 69.2 milligrams. We're going to try to place it in the center here. It's close. So there is no visual damage to the disc. What I'm going to do now is take off the label, and we're going to compare it to the ISO that we burned with our control. And we're going to compare and see how many errors, or how many differences in the two files. So I need to carefully pick off this label. Okay, so CD1 with one label has 0 errors. Add that to our collection and get ready for 2 labels. We were hearing some funny noises earlier. Okay, so this is our CD2 with 2 labels, and we had no errors. And we are moving on to 3 labels. Wow. That is... sounds like it's like grinding. CD3, 3 labels, no errors. At this point, if someone is this stupid to put this many labels on a disc, then they probably won't be able to figure out how to write data to a disc anyway. There's 4 labels in there, and write that. Alright, so CD4, 4 labels, no errors. At this point, it's pretty unbelievable that anyone would put this many labels in sequence on each other. So what we're going to do is we're going to step up the number of labels for this next test to 10, and we're going to see if we get any different results here. It's going to take a while to set up here. If you can see that, that's 10 labels stacked. So we're going to put that on, and if this doesn't cause something to happen horribly wrong, or at least semi-horribly wrong, then we're doing something.
You can change.
Because that's almost the size of another CD. That definitely sounds relevant.
It's moving.
Oh my god.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Are we ready to burn it?
Yeah.
Go.
Do it.
That sounds like something's happening.
Firmware's like, screw this. Yeah, hold the guy down. No, that's dangerous.
Okay, so it looks like what's happening is that the firmware in the drive is saying, no, we cannot do this. We're getting nowhere. We are at 0% progress right now. The program is not letting us stop because it's trying something. So I'm going to try and inject it manually without dying. And it ignored me. So when we tried to burn the disc with 10 labels on it, it wouldn't even get up to speed because there was some sort of safeguard. We got so much vibration that the whole drive was moving, but we never got any data written to the disc.
So what we're doing now is, since it didn't work the way we intended, we're going to try and burn a CD and then put the labels on.
To see if the safeguards, the writing safeguards, like, do not apply when you're verifying a disc. So we're going to put the written disc with 10 labels inside the drive, and we are going to try and verify the data and see if the safeguards turn off somehow for the process. Those familiar sounds.
No, it's going up.
There we go. All right.
Amazingly, the drive spins up and the disk verifies with 0 errors.
Max verify rate was at 24x. The average was at 13x. I don't know. Looks like we don't get some exploding CDs at all, I guess. I guess what we can take out from here mainly is that there are too many, either there's safeguards in the firmware of the drive or something like that that is not allowing you to put too many labels and hope for an explosion. So it just slows it down again.
Alright, so we went through our process of trying to get the CD to write, and it looks like it wasn't any good.
Yeah, first we tried, well, with 1 label, 2 labels, and 3 labels. Nothing happened.
Even when we got as far as 10 labels, it seemed like all that really happened was that the drive would get really angry and start vibrating. I think that, you know, they do a pretty good job of making sure that nobody's going to be able to hurt themselves with this stuff, and that, you know, it'll work regardless of what stupid things you try to put in there.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it looks like all that's left now is to go do some more science.
Yeah, clearly calls for more science. This myth is busted. So it looks like we gotta get more of these. Shatter them.
Should we do that? Like,
Ah, that time we got it special.
That could go in the intro, like we could just be like,
There were no series confirmed dancers.
why? Can we do this with like out mustaches? Like, so. That was not me that time. That was him. Why?
you're an asshole.
Oh man, I almost had that shit.